Hi everyone, J.E. Champagne here, coming again from my home office with another writing tip video in my Terp shirt. Go Terps! March Madness has started, and I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to see the men play tonight. So, about a week or two ago, I posted on Twitter that if you piss me off, I will make you a character in my next book. If you really piss me off, I will use your real name. And I've been thinking about that the last couple of weeks, and the whole idea of basing characters off of real people, and wanted to talk to you guys about that. So, other than that kind of situation where you just have somebody you need to deal with that you can dig into a character and make them mean, nasty, obnoxious, stupid, and just deal with that particular person. It's one of the perks of being a writer is that you can tell people to suck it in print. And sometimes you just need to do that, and it's one of my favorite perks of being a writer. But really, other than that kind of situation, I really think that basing a character off of somebody specific is actually a really bad idea. It can be a real hindrance to your writing. It can be very constraining. So if you've got, let's say you've got a main character in your book and that character's best friend, and you're trying to base that best friend off of your best friend, your childhood best friend, somebody you're close to now, whatever. And in the book, there's going to be situations that simply your best friend has never been in, and now you're trying to figure out what to do in that situation. How would they react? What would they say? What would they do? And you realize that to continue the story the way that you want it to, they need to do something, quote, out of character. That's not what your best friend would do. And you've got a choice to make. Do I let them go in through the story where I want them to go, or do I really focus on this character being my best friend? And I really think, I truly believe this, that even though our characters only exist on the pages of our book, they need to be allowed to be their own person. They are people that again, even though they exist only on the pages of a book, they exist, and we need to let them be themselves. They need to say the things that they would say, do the things that they would do in their own way. I think almost any writer will tell you that there are characters that take on a life of their own, and we need to let them do that. It's one of the most beautiful parts of writing and really dealing with good, rich characters is you let them be themselves. Now, sometimes you'll have a character who can kind of be a conglomeration of a few different people that you know, whether that's a stereotype or whether that's simply kind of a type of person that you know. You've got people that are all in very similar situations in your life that can influence a character and can kind of all come together without necessarily having to be, quote, based on somebody specific. So the example that I would use from my first book, An Unusual Path, is the character of Katie. Katie is beautiful and young and single and yet a little insecure on the inside. She is one of those people who is, quote, not going to settle when she's looking for a husband, a partner, a boyfriend, and it really just ends up that she spends a lot of her time alone. And not that Katie is any particular person in my life. I would say that I know a lot of Katies, a lot of single women who are, waiting for Mr. Right and are really spending a whole lot of time alone waiting for that perfect man when really perfection doesn't exist. And somebody who is in that group of people that I would know may read this and say, is Katie based on me? And they're really not. They may have influenced it, but I didn't want to base Katie on anybody in particular because, again, that would have been a real hindrance to who Katie was. And she actually is, she's a wonderful character. And there's a moment in An Unusual Path where one of the main characters, Amy, kind of calls her on it and says, you need to realize that waiting for perfection is a good way to end up alone. And, we deal with how Katie reacts to that, and she really doesn't like it. And, what happens from there. But even though I would love to say that to some of the Katies in my life, that doesn't make them Katie and me Amy. Amy is not based on me. There's bits of me in Amy, there's bits of me in all of my characters, but that doesn't mean that any specific character is me or is anybody else. And I actually think that the idea of somebody looking at a character and being able to figure out who it's based off can actually get a little treacherous. It can get a little dangerous. So if you really base a character on somebody in your life to the point that it is obvious to those who are close to you, especially to that particular person who realizes, oh wait, this character is based on me, and then they read something that, let's say that character has a controversial moment, a really hard conversation with somebody, and whoever sees this and realizes, oh wait, is this based on me, and then that character has something that again is hard to deal with, the person is left asking, do they really think I think that way? Would they think that I would say that? That's not what I think at all. And can get themselves in a situation where they're really upset. Or if you base a character on yourself and then it is so obvious that people figure it out, and again, they have something, challenging, controversial, something that happens to them or something that they say, and then anybody who knows you would read that and say, do they really think that? And it could be that you do and you're willing to take that ire, and good for you. But if you don't, if it's really that character needed to have that moment of conflict and says something inappropriate, as says something judgmental to somebody, and really because that's what needed to happen in the book, if you have gotten yourself in a situation where that character is so obviously based on somebody and then they do something like that, you need to know that people may say, well, why would you say that? And you would say, oh, well, I didn't say that. My character said that. And if you have allowed a little bit of distance between yourself and your character, they can really be sometimes nasty, sometimes jerks. They can sometimes, say things that are irreverent and, I keep using the word controversial, but they can have those moments if they are not tied to anybody in real life. And sometimes the best moments in your book are those moments, are the parts where somebody does something unexpected, and what happens out of that. Let your characters do that. And I really think that one of the ways to have the freedom to do those sorts of things is to not base your characters on anybody specific. So I hope that that's been helpful today. Take that, run with it. I can't wait to see what you write. You guys can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All of it is at J.H. Champagne. I can't wait to hear from you. Send me a tweet, send me a message. I love talking to you and hearing what you have to say, and I love helping you write. So I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Go Terps! Talk to you guys soon.